Yes, here we are. Hello. Welcome to MindBody TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I'm glad to have you here. I would like to share today something that's really potently coming up for probably every single person listening. And that is that inner sort of like the death that has to happen, the ego death, as the old structures fall apart. We are outgrowing them and we feel like, oh my God, I can't make my life work anymore. And it's really not because there's anything wrong. It's because we've outgrown the old structures. What are the old structures? It's the sort of power from the outside in. There's an authority that's going to tell me what I can do, what I can't do, what's my worth and value, what's my journey. Work hard, study hard, get a good job, do the money system this way, be this, be that. You know, here's how it works. Here's who you should be. So we do it like outside in. And then we try so hard to make that work. And here's the thing, you know, we're in that end stage of that fallout. And so these systems at one time sort of worked, sort of did have a structure that was supportive, right? Like, you know, work your whole life and then you retire and then you're going to have this cush life. And, you know, there might've been a minute where that was a feasible way to do it. But certainly not for a very long time. You know, I remember when I started college, it was the first year that there was this real confirmation that that system wasn't working anymore. Like, go to school and then you're going to get out and you'll make your life work, right? If you've got a college degree, that in fact, most college graduates went home and had to move in with their parents because they could not afford to sustain their own life. And so like, you know, now it's like 25 years plus since I graduated and people are still thinking the same way. And then it's like, wait a minute, why isn't this working? We've got to begin to think differently. We've got to begin to release those structures. We've got to begin to live more from the inner knowing and the truth and a true contribution versus the step-by-step, follow the plan and you'll be okay prescription. And this is true for, you know, for money, for lifestyle and work and occupation, for relationships, and certainly for health. So in case you haven't noticed, that prescription of like, do as the doctor says, or, you know, take your medicine and you're going to be okay. Or, oh, your body's broken, you have a disease, therefore you have to do this. The label even of a diagnosis. And then following that path doesn't actually lead to a resolution. And many people are discovering, wait a minute, that system has its role, but it's not actually to support health, wellness, well-being. And so have adopted and stepped into other structures. Like, what really does support my health and well-being? What really does support my energy, aliveness, and longevity? And have already stepped into other structures. And so they're already in place, but to the degree that you're like playing small and trying to fit into the hole, it's going to get really, really tight. It's like you've outgrown a shirt and you keep trying to put that shirt on and like make it work. It's just going to get more painful to try to fit into those structures, to try to fit into that identity, to try to fit into that idea of who you are, what you've been told you are. And that is not the nightmare that it might seem to be for many people. It's actually an invitation to step into something higher. And so this is going to come from the inside out. It will come through an inspiration, through a calling, through an inner knowing. It will come from really cultivating your own power versus outer power saying, okay, you're ready now. We're going to allow you to do this. It's going to come from your own self-permission. I'm going to choose to do or be this. I'm going to choose to be this path because I choose it, because I'm following my knowing. So power from the inside out. And it's really based on knowing that the infinite value is within us. Now, in our financial system, most people really don't understand what our financial system is actually founded on, how our financial system actually works. It's a debt-based system, and it's based on the value that you are the currency and you are the collateral being held in that system. They basically know you're going to be born. They're going to stamp and take your soul and have the imprint of your foot and put it on a certificate. And then that certificate gets exchanged and traded. There's an account there. And our entire economy is founded on those strawman accounts. So if you're the value and you're actually the creditor, and all of the currency that exists is based on that inner value, how would you live differently if you knew that? How would you live differently if you saw through the structures you've been shown and remembered that truth, right? It's written on your heart. So it's not just a matter of like, let me get educated and learn this stuff. It's a matter of remembering who you already are. There's a part of you that already knows. And so you may be feeling this through inspiration of like, whoa, I want to make a difference in the world. I want to do something different. I want to do it like this in a way that really contributes. And you feel this deep inspiration, or through desperation, right? I just can't do it anymore. This is why I'm dying. Oh, let me have a little more coffee. Oh, it's not working. Oh, let me like do a motivational thing. Oh, it's still not working, right? And so years and years go by and you realize I'm failing miserably. And it's actually not that you're failing. It's that you're beginning to awaken to that structure is too tight. It's not meant to be your foundation anymore. And so are you ready to stop playing small? And the question then becomes, do I choose to step up to a higher level? Do I choose to step up and be of greater service? Or do I choose to keep trying to get better at treading water? Right? And keep playing small and double down on that closure and double down on that fight or flight, white knuckling it, but just do it better. This is a turning point for all of us that we got to begin to ask ourselves. So welcome to this broadcast today. And I would love to hear from you about, where you're tuning in from, but what does this mean for you? Have you been feeling that inner calling, either the inspiration or the desperation? And it will feel like, oh, I don't want to admit it, but I actually am miserable. There's nothing shameful about not thriving in this contrived system that's designed to starve you. In fact, life set it up so that you could finally choose your truth. This is your moment. And you could wait another like 2 or 3 years till you're just like on the floor, or you could call it out right now and feel that inner pain of like what it feels like to stay in suppression, because we are all meant to live in our greatness. And everybody, it looks different for everybody. Like it's written on your heart what that is for you. I can't tell you what it is. I can help you get there and get the clarity and connect with that. In fact, that's what I do in the mentorship programs where I'm working with people. And it's your choice. Do you want to see it? Okay, so let's tune into what is coming up for you around that. I do want to also mention that the replay for yesterday's workshop is playing at drkimd.com/workshop, where we did some more workshopping into this. But I'm going to just speak on a few more nuggets of that today. And that the Be the Medicine program, the mentorship with me, it's a 4-month-long, completely life-altering experience, is available, is open, and you are invited to register now. The doors close on September 5th. This is the only way that I'm working with people at this level of intimacy and small group connection, one-on-one in the group. And so for everyone who's ready to step it up and you would like my assistance, that is the invitation there. And it's at drkimd.com/BTM, Be the Medicine. And this is really for everyone ready to stop playing small, ready to step it up to a higher level, ready to be of greater service. Or, like I said in the workshop yesterday, you're either going to get on the ark or just get better at treading water. Some people aren't ready. They don't realize that they're treading water. It's like, no, I'm pulling it off, another day. Whew, I'm working it out. I'm figuring it out. And I'm so busy, but like not realizing that that's a destructive way of living. And it's okay. Like keep cooking in that crucible because life is getting you ready. But if you are ready and you are in that knowing of like, whoa, I know I can't keep doing it this way. Where am I going to be 10 years from now? If I just keep trying to tread water and get better at it, it's exhausting me. So if you're in a structure where you're giving more than you're receiving, so like your work is depleting you, your occupation is depleting you, your relationships are depleting you, your life to keep it going is depleting you. You guys, we're not meant to live like that. We are infinitely resourced. We are infinitely powerful. The space of creator that created and creates us is still here in us now. And if we stop clamping down on it, it will flow through us. It can heal the body. It can manifest all the money that you'll ever need. It can manifest the situations and the resources and the people and the ideas to create a whole new structure. And so these new structures will be created from the inside out. They will be structures that actually feed and nurture the human, as opposed to our current education, financial, and healthcare, which is really disease care systems, which they are not nurturing to the human in any way. Like the doctor's starving and the patient's starving, right? Nobody is benefiting from that system. It's just a matter of time until we really come to that conclusion and we're willing to surrender that to let the new systems come in. There's a role for you. Yesterday in the workshop, someone said, well, everyone can't have success. And so I want to share it this way. Like if we have that conventional understanding of success, you're like making this much money, you're on the stage and everyone's listening to you, right? Like some kind of leadership thing. Whatever your idea of success is, of course, that's not meant for everybody. That may not be even what's meant for you. But if we connect with what's written on the heart, your true blueprint, it's 100% available for you. It can't be otherwise, meaning like you could keep white knuckling it and starving it off, but life's going to keep kicking you in the ass until you allow even 2% surrender for more of it to come in. And so your success, or just your full aliveness, your full embodiment and expression is inevitable in this lifetime and another lifetime. It's what life force is coming through you to bring. And so we are each meant to have our success manifest, whatever that means to you. So you got to let go of what the mind thinks it means, because it's going to just have you work harder to do like the status quo success. And that's going to be exhausting and depleting. And of course, that's not something that is available for everyone. But if you really tune in to what is my heart desiring, what is my heart desiring? And it doesn't need to be this big thing. It could just be like, well, my heart's desiring for me to slow down and be more nurtured. My heart's desiring for me to let go of those relationships. And then the second thing is the courage to choose that. And I talked yesterday in the workshop about the 3 things that keep us from allowing that. 3 big reasons why we clamp down and we just won't let go. And so what would it take for my commitment to the vision to be bigger than my fear and my doubt? Whew. So let's tune in some of the comments. It's great to see you guys here. Dominican Republic, Boston, Colombia, New Hampshire, Switzerland, Arizona, California, Colorado. Hello, Joe. Switzerland, Daniela. Very difficult time. Yeah, and I just spoke with a friend right before I got on and just validated his experience, because he's like, I'm going through a massive healing right now. And, you know, his father died, and then his body got sick, and then like all kinds of upheaval. And I was like, yep, everybody who is a light worker, who's here to be a part of these new systems is going to feel that falling away, and your body needs to detoxify it. Your cellular needs to release it and repattern. Because, you know, like my husband, he's been in radiology and he's made a major switch in his foundation. And so the company he was contracted with was saying, well, we can give you, you know, these shifts. And he used to take anything. He would just be like a workhorse. Yep, I'll cover you. Yep, I've got it. He's like saved probably 3 different medical practices at this point, because he would just jump in and be like picking up all these shifts and they could survive. But not for the long term, right? Because they're really founded in a structure that doesn't work, right? If the doctors are starving with cortisol levels through the roof and the patients are like barely making it alive, it's not really nurturing anyone. It cannot survive with where humanity is going. So he recently said to the other doctor, thank you. I'm not gonna, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm not gonna cover that. And they're like, good for you. He's like, I got my cortisol level checked. I got a good hard look at what's been happening in my body. And I'm not willing to just override this anymore. Now, he doesn't know what's the next structure coming in. It doesn't already, he has ideas about it, but it's not like someone already, gave him $1 million check and was like, now you can choose your freedom. Now you can choose your well-being. It doesn't happen that way. It won't get created until you choose it, and you choose it with your life. Like my mom used to always say, put your money where your mouth is. Because sometimes money is the currency that grips us the most, and we will keep doubling down on our fear rather than invest in our truth. So when you put your money where your mouth is, oh, I want to be free. I want to be living my authentic life. I want to be really fully expressed. But then we're like, oh, wait, I'm not going to put my money there. I'm still going to keep my money in the safety, right? It's not safe. It's falling away. You're in a sinking ship. There's one great financial advisor I was listening to that I really, really appreciate. And he was saying, you're on the sinking Titanic. Don't worry that the lifeboat looks a little sketchy. You're on the sinking Titanic, meaning the certainty you do have, just like Neo in the Matrix, is so much stronger than the uncertainty of where you're going, right? They put a gun to his head, right? He gets in the car, he's going to meet Morpheus, and they're like, all right, they put a gun to his head. And he's like, WTF, I'm out of here. No way, I'm not doing this. Who are you? And, Trinity grabbed his hand and said, Neo, you can go down that road, but you know exactly where that road goes. And you know that's not where you want to be. And what he had going for him was he had the clarity of that dead end. He tried it and again and again, and he invested himself in trying to make that life work. And all he had was the clarity of not that way. He had no idea what lied ahead this way. He had no idea. And it was scary. But he had to look that demon in the eyes and move forward into the unknown. And that's where we are right now. And so for Mario, and he's been at this point so many moments, choosing, and it was the same thing for me. When I finally surrendered my licensure, my board certification, re-upping and renewing, keeping that part alive, because I knew like, this is killing me. I would rather die than recertify in that structure. I was already working in my business. It was making, a decent living, not fully putting food on the table, but like, I was doing okay. And when I let that go and literally just took it off the plate and doubled down on what I knew, 5x in my business and in my money that year. And I went from like, oh my God, I'm scared and I might need this to fall back on. And I worked so hard for this, being an ER doctor and getting my, licensure and board certification right in the system. But I knew this was effing killing me. And that I literally would rather die than try to survive in that structure. But I didn't know, how's it going to work? Will I be supported? I just had to have faith in what was written on my heart. That's it. And so I said, I know, not that way. I may not know what the heck's going to happen, but it's a trust. Will I trust in my knowing versus my thinking? And I let that go and I never looked back. And that very year is when my business really became like a substantial living of way beyond what I ever created and generated as an ER doctor. And so I chose it first. I invested in it first. I put my life on the line, right? Your survival in your mind, it's your survival that's at stake. I put that in there first. I got fully on the ark, even when it didn't make any freaking sense. Even when I didn't see that, there's water coming and this is going to be the right move. Like I just had the knowing, and I invested myself hook, line, and sinker in my truth, in my foundation, in my new structure. And that's when it became alive. It wasn't before that. It was, I was struggling. And so have you, desperation here, going through a difficult time, miserable a lot, even in nature, desperation all the way. Yes, desperation or inspiration, but can you validate that? I worked really hard not to suppress my inner voice, but actually beat the hell out of it. I worked hard not just to suppress my inner voice, to beat the hell out of it. Yeah, I mean, I used to kind of try that. Why can't I just be a better ER doctor? It would be so much easier because that was the known. But here I knew, like, no way. I'd rather die. And so there's nothing wrong with you, right? So it's like the elephants. The elephants learn, here's my boundary. I can't step over that line. They're little baby elephants and they have this rope and it's like, oh, here's the boundary. I can't go over it. But then they grow up and they're big, strong elephants and they could just like shoot right through that rope or step right over it. Like the rope is not an actual barrier, but because it got linked into the nervous system, they stopped questioning. So even if there was some really juicy thing they wanted outside the boundaries of that rope, it wasn't seen. It wasn't acknowledged, right? So that's why we want to close down to our heart. No, I already know I can't have it. Let me just make this work. And we double down on the suppression. Do you guys have any idea how expensive it is to stay in suppression? How much energy goes into closure and tension and suppressing living your heart's desire? A lot, like 99% of your energy goes into that. And then it's like, why is nothing manifesting? There's like 1% energy left over to do basic housekeeping, digestion, detoxification, let alone reproduction. Forget it. You are not going to have fertility when all of your energy is going into this suppression. Can't happen. And that's why so many people are breaking down into these massive, crazy illnesses. Like, why am I so sick? And like, we're making up names for this disease because you're like, your body's falling apart in 10 different ways I don't even have an explanation for. Because we're trying to run the system, right, your electromagnetic and physical system, on like 2% of your energy allotment. So much energy goes into that suppression. And what's the payoff? I'm kind of like pushing away that fear a little bit. I'm good. I got it going. Okay, I can do this. So you're like a little bit less feeling the fear versus if you surrender, poof, you're going to feel that fear. You're going to freaking feel it like a warrior. And if you can breathe, if you can soften, if you can find courage, core, C-O-U-R, is the root word for heart. You got to go to love. You've got to go to acceptance, compassion. Courage is that inflection point. I talked about this in the workshop yesterday. Why is that such a massive frequency electromagnetic inflection point? What does that do physiologically? Major, major, major changes, because now you are contributing more energy than what you are consuming. I'm just gonna, stop playing small, breathing through the fear and the repercussions. I stood up to my mother, and showed her my anger. Yeah, and it's really a powerful thing to do, to let someone see what you're feeling. Doesn't mean you take it out on them. Just means you let them see what you're feeling. Worked really hard. Yeah, I read that one, to suppress and beat the hell of it. I can't wait to reconnect with this precious work. Trying to determine who wants to stay with the old structure or come into a new struggle. Exactly why I have done and kept my work to myself. Can't please them all, or in my case, most. Be healthy. Yep, it's a choice. But what you realize is, like, it's always a reflection of you. It's like, where am I not full out in commitment to what I know? Where am I still hiding a little or covering the other bases just in case this fear thing is my real truth? Where am I still putting energy into those structures? Because if I'm putting my energy into the fear and doubt, or covering the bases of fear and doubt, or protecting myself from the fear and doubt, you are not putting all of your energy into your truth. And it can't really, it's like a rocket ship. It will take off, but you've got to ignite it. And it needs more of your energy in order to ignite. And so it's going to get harder to tread water. It's going to get harder to keep playing small. So don't worry. Life's going to kick you in the butt to get you to do that stepping up, to get you to choose who you really are. And you may already have the clarity now, or you may need to keep percolating in that pot. Nothing wrong with getting further clarity, you guys, right? Like, let me just kind of see. In fact, I spoke with someone this morning who's struggling in a relationship, and she knows, like, this is killing me. And her money is way, way down since being in this marriage, and her self-esteem is way, way down. And she's had to let go of lots of her clients. And she knows here, just like I knew here, I do not want to continue to be in that structure, but I was scared. So I thought I wasn't certain, but in my heart, I was 100% certain. And until I chose that, until I let those structures fall away and I doubled down on my truth, it didn't really show up. So you got to trust your knowing, and you have to act upon it. The action is what creates the ignition, right? You can't just say, oh yeah, I understand this. Oh my God, I know what you mean. Oh yeah, I really believe in that too. But then you're like putting all your energy over there. And so it doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to quit my job today and I'm going to walk out of there and let's just see what shows up. You've got to surrender. When you surrender, the path presents itself. The phone will ring, or the inspiration to make that phone call, or the next brick on the yellow brick road lights up. Ooh, I'll step on that brick. I'll take that step. It won't show up until you choose, because everything's a reflection of you. Wow. So that's really the question, right? So what do we deal with when we keep putting energy in the old structures? We get sick. We have lack. I don't have enough money to choose myself fully. It's the other way around. When I choose myself fully, the money will show up. I've had this again and again and again and again in my life. In fact, when I left a relationship that really wasn't serving me, right? I was so afraid because I kept just trying to prove myself. But I was dying in that relationship. And when I finally had the courage to leave, and I just asked for the clarity, and I got it. My money like quadrupled within like a couple weeks. It was just like immediate. And so unexpected things can happen. You think, well, someone said yesterday, but I'm on a fixed income, right? So we think like, well, this doesn't apply to me because I already know like my income can't change, but it's crap. It's a belief system. It's total BS. Everything changes when you allow that foundational shift. So find a little courage. What is one thing you can do today that's a great, courageous act? It might be like, I'm going to pause in the middle of my day and just go meditate for 10 minutes. All I'm going to do is breathe. I'm not going to be productive. I'm going to go over there and be still and be nurtured. Like find one thing, because when you put that in and you commit to that, it's going to show up in your matrix. So overwhelmed, right? Like, how are you? I'm so busy. Oh my God, I'm just so busy. Well, you know how it is. It's funny how everyone will say that to me. Oh, well, you know how it is. And I'm like, no, I effing don't. Thank you very much. And I'm grateful that I chose to not operate in overwhelm, because you guys, it was a warrior move of immense courage, right? Because everything in the cellular was like, you can't stop. You can't take a break. You have to do this, right? So it's a matter of, do I listen to the programming or do I listen to my knowing? It takes courage, but it's already here. It's already in your matrix. It's already ready to show up. It's like, it's the pie is cooking in the oven and you just got to open the oven. It's already been cooking. It's been cooking a long time. It's ready. You're ready. And so trust is that I step into the higher Even though my mind's like, I'm not ready yet. I haven't healed myself. How could I be of value to others? It will tell you like a million things. And there were a lot of questions that came up on the workshop yesterday around this. Do I have to already know what I'm here to do before I allow this surrender? No, in fact, you're not going to know anything when you're in fight or flight, because your brain, right? It's like you got the blinders on. You're only going to see the programming and what it allows you to see. So sometimes the choice is just, I'm going to soften my body. I'm going to breathe more fully, right? Act as if it's in the book. It's in the book. If you don't have the book, the MindBody Toolkit, drkimd.com/book, or it's available on Amazon. Super, super smart tools to awaken your system and let this intelligence we are touching on here come in to the cellular. Because until it goes into the cellular, it's just a nice idea. It's just a bumper sticker. And for those of you who are ready to receive assistance and to make this commitment to stop playing small, to choose the heart, to let yourself be resourced, I will invite you to join the Be the Medicine mentorship group, drkimd.com/BTM, because until I let this in cellularly, which happens through the breath, nothing really manifested. I spent years, and they were so painful because I knew, but I didn't know. I didn't let myself. I didn't let it in. I was so scared. Just kept running. And I did everything right. But it was like, why isn't this working? And I hear this a lot when people will go and start a healing practice or coaching practice or something more expansive, but then their cellular is still in the old structure of money doesn't grow on trees. I have to work hard. That's that dream, that vision of mine, that's unicorns and rainbows. So doubt is leading the way. Fear is leading the way. Conclusions and BS, belief systems, are leading the way. And I'm telling you, when your belief systems are leading the way, you are right. You are right. And the matrix is going to show you, you're right. You don't have enough money. You're right. You're never going to be able to have that. That's a pipe dream. You're right. That you're just asking for too much because you're clearly inadequate and you haven't learned to work hard and you need to prove yourself. You're going to be right until you choose the true self. And then you let it be right and you let it show you and you let it create. It will heal your body and it will manifest your business, your money, your new life. It will manifest your path. But you got to let go. There's a lot of ways to let go. For me, movement is huge, right? But it's always about the breath. So, you do the yoga poses and it's about, oh, I'm breathing through this embodiment. I'm breathing through this embodiment. The pose is about an embodiment, a structure, a posture, a container that you bring the breath through. So what is it like if I bring the breath through this container? What is it if I bring the breath through this container? You're going to discover different things awakening and different things releasing. And it's the same in your moment to moment. Will you bring the breath to this moment? And in the workshop yesterday, we talked about vibrational frequency. Everyone wants to get to a higher vibrational frequency. You can't. You cannot get to a higher frequency. You can only be in the one you are in more fully. So will you bring that breath to this shitty moment? Will you bring that breath, right? The full breath of yes, I am willing to be this, to this shitty moment. Or will you keep rejecting this shitty moment and trying to get to the better moment? That's what I was doing. And it was like, I'm going to be in this better moment. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to get there. And guess what it created? More of because what you resist persists, more of the quote, shitty moment, more of the lack, more of the overwhelm and not having enough time and not having enough money and not having things work out. And people didn't understand, what is she talking about? Right? And then doubt. God, am I the only one who sees this? Why isn't this working? You gotta let yourself be in the embodiment. And if I could tell my 12 years ago self one thing, I would say, be more willing to breathe where you are and commit every day to breathing where you are. Because what I was doing was trying to get somewhere else and trying to get to a better place and trying to make it better. And that just kicked me in the butt. In fact, I shared yesterday in the workshop, there were a lot of really good nuggets in the workshop. Trying to feel better, because people think it's about being positive. No, trying to feel better is a negative state. Trying to get to a higher frequency is a suppressive choice. It's a contracted thing to try to feel better. In fact, sometimes when you're so low, you'll recognize that. And that's what keeps so many people in depression. They're trying to feel better. What if you try to feel now? And it's not like, okay, let me feel my pain. It's just, let me feel what's here now. What's here now may be pain and it may be fear. But it's not about, I got to feel my fear. Then things will work out. I got to just embrace my doubt and then things will work out. You don't have to do that. Just embrace your now. And it will transmute, because that's how you're created. That's how it works. Yeah, I hadn't made money in my business. I mean, I had made some money, but it wasn't like this flourishing thing. So will I double down on my knowing, or will I let that defeat me? Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Let me just go back over here and make this thing work. That's the choice we're all making right now. It's not a matter of giving up your dream. It's a matter of surrendering to it even more fully and letting it show you. All right. I love you guys. I will invite you to watch the replay of the workshop at drkimd.com/workshop. I'll post that here in the comments. Workshop. The replay is playing. I love you guys too. And the Be the Medicine program is on offer and is available. And we will close the doors on September 5th. I will do a kickoff video that day with some getting started pieces. As soon as you register, you will begin your journey, and there are integration tools you will receive for this. The biggest thing is really connecting with that true vision. What is the true vision? Not like this big thing, I'm going to be this. It's actually already inside of you, and it's here now, not later. And decreasing the resistance, letting go of that resistance and that white knuckling, and having a little more trust, a little more faith, a little more surrender, so that you begin to see the path. You will. I promise it will show up just like the next brick on the road. Boom, 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 boom. You will not miss it. It's not vague. And so if it seems vague, it seems unclear, you just don't have the courage or the certainty, 2% more surrender. And that is what we will be doing in the mentorship. It's a 4-month journey together. We have our live group calls together. It will be a relatively small group. We'll max out, I think, at around 30. The groups have always been even smaller than that in the past. What else can I tell you? The information is on the page, drkimd.com/BTM. This is the only way I am working with people live privately. So this is the way that I've developed the structure I'm in. I found this to be the most powerful way, because you're going to be gaining so much from the other people in the group who have also stepped up to that level of courage and that level of commitment and that level of like, yes, I'm ready choice. So that alone makes a very powerful collective. So what is your heart's calling? Even if right now it's just a whisper, you don't even have words for it. It's just a little bit of a like effervescent light. There's something here. Don't worry that you don't know what it is. Begin choosing it now. I love you guys. Thank you. If you're just starting out, check out the page for the Be the Medicine program. It will actually begin to resonate with you cellularly as you read the page, because it's in a different frequency. So it might not even make sense to your mind. Like, why would I do this? Is this right for me? I don't know. Who the heck do I think I am to invest in myself like that for 4 months? But see if you can go beyond the mind and what it thinks about this, and let it resonate with you. See if you can feel it, because you'll know if this is your next step. You'll absolutely unequivocally know. And so find the courage to say yes and choose it. All right. Lots of love, you guys. I will see you. We're always broadcasting live at 11 a.m. Mountain Time in the MindBody community and in my YouTube station, Dr. Kim Duramo. So subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell. More people will find this video. It will literally light up for them when you do those things. And you can share this with anyone that you love. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I'm so grateful for those people who are already in the Be the Medicine program. We have a really hearty group that is already stepped forward and registered. So we are already getting the energy going. And I really look forward to connecting with you guys and showing you what's really in store, because it's so much bigger than what I could even share on this side of the equation. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye.